you planning on buying a VR headset in early 2023? Wrong. Or even worse, did you buy a VR headset recently? Well then, your brain is smoother than the silky fabric of the very universe. You are more dense than the lump of toilet paper in the toilet bowl after that massive dump you took after a trip to Taco Bell. All joking aside, if you want to get into VR, and you can afford the bad value of it at the moment, you should pull the trigger. It's a great piece of technology, and it's just great in general, from the community to the games. It's just that the current technology is fairly outdated or overpriced, or both. And there's so many great headsets about to be released, making the VR headsets now look like tech demos. So here's why buying a VR headset right now is a garbage idea. This video is halfway inspired by the videos that Viewy has, the Do Not Buy series. Great channel, check it out. Anyways, let's start off with the big one, the Quest 2, because I doubt most people are planning on joining financially irresponsible gang and buying something like the Index. In 2020 or 2021, the Quest 2 would be a great buy, better than the Quest 1 in every way and $100 less. Most of the people, children, in VR today were brought in by the now famous Quest 2. But then Zuckerberg over here decided that he wanted to start making money, and he casually added another $100 to the price tag. And with the Quest 2 starting to show its age, it no longer seemed to have such a great value. So you should probably wait if you were planning on getting the Quest 2, and later in this video, you can see some headsets that you should be waiting for. This thing, the Quest Pro, another one of Zuckerberg's attempts to finally make a profit. There is no way the thought of purchasing this bar of gold even glanced your mind, unless you are Mr. Moneybags business boy that fell for all of Facebook Meta's attempts at trying to make you think that there was a world where this borderline scam is worth it. Would you rather have a fancy professional Quest Pro or a 4090 that can run almost any game at over 60 FPS? Hint, the Quest 3 will come out with most of the same features, but for a third of the price. Probably the second most popular VR headset at the moment, the king of proper PC VR, the Valve Index. Even older than the Quest 2 and $1,000. It is still one of the best VR experiences, especially if you ignore all that Vario stuff, but in a few months, that statement will be far from true. In between the release of the headset in 2022, the Valve Index was still worth it, as it was revolutionary, and was also the revival of VR. The resolution and field of view still hold up with current-gen headsets, and the controllers are still undeniably the best out there. But at the end of the day, the headset was designed in 2019. It is starting to show its age, and there are some better options on the horizon. There probably are a few other headsets that you might be considering, like the HP Reverb G2, or whatever HTC is up to these days, but those headsets will also not be the best headsets to buy right now, as even without the new headsets, the Valve Index or Quest 2 would most likely be a better purchase. And there are so many amazing headsets on the brink of being released. CES 2023 just happened, and among all of the great technology that was shown off, there were some pretty awesome headsets. From the PSVR 2 to the PSVR 2, I didn't do much research, alright? I mean, there was some pretty cool stuff from HTC and all those other more specialized brands, but they are, like I said, specialized, and not that great for the average consumer. But that PSVR 2, man, come on, this thing's great. Want some great VR? Buy a Valve Index and build a PC that can run most VR games, at least $2,500 total, or get a PSVR 2 and a PS5 for just over $1,000. And it has all the bells and whistles from eye tracking to the DualSense trigger thing. Keep in mind that it won't be 3 years old, and maybe not, it could do PC VR. At least according to Viewy, someone might figure it out. But there are also some articles stating the opposite. If it can, that's great. But if not, I mean, PS5 is cheaper than a PC, I guess. The other headsets from CES are cool and all, but you shouldn't set your sights on any of them until reviews come out saying that they are perfect, or their prices drop a ton. The PSVR 2 is like the first headset of a new generation, with all the buzzwords: eye tracking, foveated rendering, other stuff I'm forgetting. There are also various other headsets that weren't announced or anything, but we know they are in development. Most of the information comes from Satellites Bradley, who is the main source of leaked information, also a great channel you should probably check out. Firstly, we have the Quest 3, which makes the Quest Pro almost entirely obsolete, at least for the cool VR gamers, not so much for business nerds. It has all of the same features except for eye tracking, and the Quest 3 might even have some better features. For instance, an XR2 Gen 2 instead of Gen 1 Plus garbage. The Quest 3 will most likely be around the same price as the current Quest 2. The Quest 3 will be considerably cheaper and better for gaming versus the Quest Pro. Do not buy the Quest Pro unless you are a business with money to burn. The one headset that I am most excited about would probably be the Valve Deckard. If Valve just took an Index and slapped a Steam Deck on the back while getting some inside-out tracking with foveated rendering, it would easily be the best VR headset on the market. A standalone headset that can play PC VR games? Count me in. If it is taking Valve so long, they might be trying to make it even better than what was mentioned earlier. But realistically, Valve is just having a bit of trouble getting off their throne of cash and doing any work. I'm looking at you, Gabe Newell. So you definitely shouldn't be buying any of the headsets like the Quest 2, Quest Pro, or the Valve Index, as there is basically no value proposition right now, and there are headsets that are coming that are just better. That's the point of the video, it's over, so goodbye. Just kidding, you got played, pawned, get absolutely sat on. Do you think the video would just end there? You think I won't talk about used headsets even though it goes against what I've been saying for a few minutes? All these new headsets that are way better, of course people would sell their old headsets to help offset the costs. There would be a lot of used headsets for sale, so you'd have to assume the prices would be fairly low so people can stay competitive in the renowned used VR headset market, which is great for anybody wanting to get into VR this second. If you really want to experience VR for the first time on a budget, the used market will be great for you soon. So in the next few months, everybody will get a VR headset upgrade because of all these new affordable headsets. The elite will get the fancy new headsets, mainstream gamers will get their old but still nice headsets, and people new to VR get our old ones. Some people will also just skip the chain and get one of the shiny new headsets. So subscribe